Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be discussing a game that often splits a crowd. Some like it, some hate it, and I'm here to discuss many of the reasons why people may dislike the game and to give my thoughts on why I personally don't find it that detestable. This game is, of course, Ark Survival Evolved. Ark Survival Evolved first entered development in October 2014 and was released to Steam Early Access on June 2nd, 2015. Over the course of the following 2 years, the game went through multiple iterations and was officially released on Steam, Xbox One, and PS4 in August of 2017. The game falls into the survival adventure genre, with an island containing hundreds of species of prehistoric animals, multiple biomes, and numerous threats for the player to explore and brave. One of the main criticisms that can be thrown at Ark is the way in which it handled DLC in its early days. In September of 2016, the Scorched Earth expansion pack was released. This DLC added a new map, several new creatures including a handful of fictional ones, as well as new items and resources. The DLC, both at release and at the current time, costs $20 on Steam. To many, this was seen as a cop-out by the devs, as the game was still in early access. In reality, anything that was released for the game at that time should have been considered as part of the base game. Alternatively, the studio should have been working on finishing the game and not dedicating resources to a DLC. Both of these are very valid criticisms of the game, yet I personally do not see them as that big of an issue. Studio Wildcard is not a big studio, and by providing a DLC while in early access, it gives the player base the opportunity to support the devs and to receive additional content that can alter the feel of the game, as well as add new mechanics to make it more interesting. I know many people who play the game that get tired of the previous locations and game mechanics and who come back at the release of the DLC. Such was the case with the recently released Aberration DLC. In addition, the game's DLC is by no means required. The first Ark Island, as well as the free expansions Dissenter and Ragnarok, are all provided with the base game and provide many hours of play. Ark also has a Season Pass which goes for $40 as of its official release that offers the already released Scorched Earth and Aberration DLC, as well as a currently unnamed DLC to be released early next year. Compare this with a game like Destiny 2, which is a $60 game, or $90 if you live in Australia, has a Season Pass that provides 2 DLCs that provide maybe 10 hours of new content each at best. Add to this the fact that the game contains microtransactions and was produced by a gargantuan studio with an even greedier publisher, and now you see why I'm a little more forgiving of a game like Ark. When it was released to early access, Ark Survival Evolved was worth $30 on Steam. This is a very reasonable price for an indie game of this nature. However, upon its official release, the game was bumped up to a full AAA price of $60 and given a Season Pass, as well as multiple collector's editions. While this is by no means the worst example of these practices in the industry, it does show that Studio Wildcard appear to be trying to wear the skin of a AAA publisher while remaining an indie development studio. For the price though, you do get what you pay for. The game has more than enough playtime in it to justify this cost, and while I personally wouldn't have been able to afford it if I hadn't bought it when I did, I can't fault it for the price too much. The game also doesn't feature microtransactions, so there's that. Technically speaking, the game is quite flawed. For a start, the game's file size at the time of writing is 131 GB, which is a bit ridiculous. The download for the game is over 20 GB, which is not the worst, but is certainly up there for those with poor internet speeds or less data allowance. The game is also quite buggy, with some more minor bugs such as progression halting or random dino deaths, as well as more serious ones such as crashes and graphical glitches. The game can be quite intensive and poorly optimized, requiring a high-end PC to run smoothly, which can be an issue for some. While these game-breaking bugs can be annoying, and admittedly the devs seem more concerned with adding more content than bug fixing, I can totally forgive many of these issues for the uniqueness of the experience that this game brings to the table. There really is nothing cooler than starting with nothing and ending up with an army of dinosaurs and a massive base built with friends. My final thoughts are as follows. If you look at the game as it was in early access, it was very reasonably priced for the game that you received, despite the DLC. If you look at the game as it is today, it is far from the worst example of a $60 game with a Season Pass. I will admit that the game is far from perfect. It has its flaws, it has its bugs, and it has some terrible practices in its past. However, for the experience you receive from the game as it stands now, I personally believe that it is worth all of that. The purpose of this video was simply to get some thoughts off my chest about the game and to experiment with this style of video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and comment what you thought, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.